evening, Los Angeles. Hello, fans of Major League Soccer. Hello, lovers of the black and gold. Hello to the millions.
And millions, Philly.
Of Defenders of the Bank listeners. This is take two. I'll explain in just 1 second of your favorite preview show. One more sleep. The CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinal. We are less than 24 hours out from hosting La Máquina, Cruz Azul in the quarterfinals, a position that LAFC has gone now in for the fourth time, playing this deep into the tournament. We got plenty to unwrap for you, but first, some introductions. My name's Christian Philemon, better known as Philly, the platinum-haired flamingo. And introducing my partner, you're going to find out why I'm laughing in just a second. We call him La Bufanda. We call him Der Schal. We call him the Molder of Young Minds. We call him the Wizard of the West Side and several other things. Actually, I think this is the first time I ever called him the Wizard of the West Side. I think we'll stick with it. I give you the man, the myth himself, my good friend and podcast partner, who I've done over 500 plus shows with, probably more than 20 or 30 live sporting broadcasts, J.R. Liebert, a.k.a.
It's the Scarf. What's good? The gray-haired goose, the mouth of the South Bay, and on this one, two-take Charlie over here. Philly had this great introduction, you guys. We were raring to go, and I'm getting ready, and I start my intro because he introduced me, and he goes, "Hey, you know we're not live?" Turns out I forgot to hit the go live button. It was
like 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, and I realized this isn't. No one's chatting, no one's here, and then we didn't go live. He was feeling so froggy. I mean, when you're young and you get really excited, the first time you're engaging in anything consensual with, sometimes you have the ability to prematurely. Well, you get the drift. Scar prematurely, starting this pot. Oh, it was funny.
What just happened there? That's going to be some explaining to do for some people out there, and I apologize. Remember, that's Uncle Philly. Listen, coming off a resounding 6-0 win over a terrible Orlando City team. LAFC looking to keep the train rolling, but Philly, it's the defending CONCACAF Champions Cup champions coming to BMO Stadium. This is not even your run-of-the-mill Liga MX squad. This is Cruz Azul.
Yeah, look, no Mexican team has played more CONCACAF Champions Cup matches than La Máquina, 119 historically. No Mexican team has ever logged more wins, 69 at this point, giggity. No Mexican team has scored more goals historically, 271. They've won this tournament 7 times. And like Scarf said, most recently in 2025. They won Liga MX 9 times and were runners up 12. This is an outstanding team. They're off to a pretty good start in the Clausura. 8 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. But let's throw out there the fact that they haven't actually won a game since March the 10th, since defeating Monterrey 3-2 in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Which happened not that long ago. But this is a very good team, and we are going to be tested. We have leg one, which is always a scary proposition at home. Going on the road, they're going to be playing in Puebla as there's renovations going on in Estadio Azteca. So that's not going to be a very friendly environment. This team, LAFC, needs to do everything they can to pick up a big dub and a nice goal differential tomorrow.
Yeah, look, this is a very good club, like Philly just said. They are second place, 4 behind Chivas de Guadalajara in terms of points, second most goals scored in the Clausura. They're one of just 3 clubs with a double-digit goal differential. And if you take their whole season, like we have the race for the supporters shield, but in Liga MX, they have the Apertura and the Clausura. If you take those 2 and you shove them all together, they've done a really stinking well for themselves. In fact, in 30 matches, they've lost just 4 in the regular season, 18-4-8. They would have the second most wins, second fewest losses, second most points, tied for the second most goals, tied for the second best differential. This is a very, very good club. And Philly, you mentioned it. They beat Monterrey to do it, but got lucky to get through. Their 3-2 victory in Monterrey was a very lucky result. The keeper went to punch the ball away for Monterrey, and he airmailed it and took out a Cruz Azul player, got a red in the 80th minute, and it was 2 goals, 84th and 90th, that sent Cruz Azul through. It was a 1-1 draw in Puebla and a 1-1 draw in a comeback fashion. They were down 1-0 after 8 minutes. A beautiful little backheeled goal, so they got in by the skin of their teeth. But you know what? So did we against Alajuelense. So these are 2 clubs that are both coming in with the same CONCACAF Champions Club fate. But Philly, you mentioned it. The last 4 results for Cruz Azul: 0 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. They have not looked good coming into this. And I will hot take it here. It doesn't matter. They're a very good team.
Yeah, I mean, listen, on the other side of the equation, LAFC's off to its best start ever. 8 wins, 0 losses, 2 draws, 3-0-1 in the Champions Cup. Only unbeaten team in Major League Soccer. First club in MLS history to record 6 straight clean sheets and have outscored their opponents 24-3. But 3 is the exact number of goals Cruz Azul averages per game throughout their couple of CONCACAF Champions Cup matches. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. Sure, we're playing well. Sure, Cruz Azul hasn't won since March the 10th, but none of that matters right now. Everything is 0 going into leg 1.
Yeah, and look, this is a club that has gotten some production from some unlikely sources in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Philly and I are going to tell you about some major players for sure when it comes to our players to watch. But you got a guy like 21-year-old Argentinian winger Luca Romero. In 29 matches that are not part of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, he has 2 goals and 2 assists. But in his 4 CONCACAF Champions Cup matches, he has 3 goals. Nicolas Ibanez, 8 goals in 27 matches throughout the course of the rest of the season. 2 of those have come in CONCACAF Champions Cup. They find a way to get some production from some unlikely guys. They have a big Argentinian presence on this team. They've got a midfielder, Jose Paradela, who is one of the better players in all of Liga MX. In 38 matches this season, 10 goals, 7 assists, 2 of those coming in CONCACAF Champions Cup. But I think the big lifting is going to have to be done by their big star, and Philly's going to talk about that in a minute. But Philly, what I'm most interested to talk about is the goalkeeper issue, controversy. I don't know what's going on there. It'll be interesting, right? Kevin Mier is normally their starter, but he broke his leg. Yeah, broke his tibia, and he came back and looked okay in a 1-1 draw back in March 20th, but then sat again. He's normally very, and I mean very good. 38 clean sheets in 95 matches. That is a 40% clean sheet rate with Cruz Azul. But it looks like it'll be the backup, most likely, Andres Gudinho, to start this one.
You said it. I mean, we don't have those problems because we have one of the best keepers in the world in that of Hugo Lloris. So, we don't have those problems in LA. And this is the first time I could say we really have the best goalkeeper of any team that I have seen all throughout this season and actually the past couple of seasons. So we've been very blessed in that endeavor. Where we haven't been very blessed, though, in the past couple of podcast defenders is our memory, because historically we do have some history with Cruz Azul. I went through amnesia because I clearly forgot the game that happened on December the 2016, 2020. COVID obviously came through and screwed up a lot of things. There were no 2 legs of that competition. It was only reduced to a single leg. LAFC would obviously win and beat 3 Liga MX teams, by the way, en route to losing to Tigres. Still never will forget or forgive Memo Ochoa for baiting Edward Atuesta. For me, that was the downfall of Atuesta after that. But yes, I just had to reiterate that because we had a couple episodes. I noticed somebody saying in the comments we did actually play Cruz Azul, and it was so funny how that one was so lodged deep into my memory bank that I didn't even recall it happening. Probably thinking of a leg too. That happened or at home, but we know it didn't happen anywhere at home because those games were contested in Orlando. So that's the amnesia.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Also, LAFC connection here on Cruz Azul. Of course, Omar Campos. Yes, Matty Bogusz played with them last
Funny
season.
enough, I'm wearing an Open Cup t-shirt, and he obviously stood out in the Open Cup.
Yeah, turns out all Omar Campos did was score the game-winning goal for LAFC in the 2024 U.S. Open Cup. In 38 matches for us, that was his only goal. He ever scored 2 assists in those 38 matches in 2024. In 2025 and a little bit of this season as well, 1 goal and 3 assists in 44 matches. And to be perfectly honest, he's thriving at Cruz Azul. He's gotten decent minutes. He's gotten good playing time. He's had a successful run there, which hasn't been the case for many other players. Chicho Arango, Matty Bogusz.
Yeah, I was about to say, yes.
I don't think you can consider Jesus Murillo's time with Juarez a success just because that club is pretty terrible. But all in all, it's been a successful run for Omar Campos. And I'm going to throw out one other name before Philly and I eventually get to our players to watch. Nicolas Larcamón. Nicolas Larcamón was hired at the start of this full season for Cruz Azul. And in 41 matches with Cruz Azul, he's only lost 5. He's 24-5-12. But if Nicolas Larcamón sounds familiar, it's because he was the head coach for León when they beat us in the 2-legged 2023 CONCACAF Champions Cup final. He went into BMO Stadium. And Philly, I remember you and I left that stadium after that 1-0 loss. We really thought, all right, we're going to come back home. We're down 2-1. We're going to play with everything we had. And it was one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen done by Nicolas Larcamón. I haven't felt that stifled on offense. Not that we couldn't create or didn't create. I literally mean that León didn't allow us to create a single thing in that match and absolutely kicked our butts on their way to winning 2023's CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Oh, how can anybody forget that? They smoked us like a pack of parliaments. It was not even close. It was devastating. It's where we started questioning a lot of things at LAFC. Obviously, we'd still go on to have a pretty good year. We went to the finals, lost against the Columbus Crew, but either way, a decent season. Losing in the finals, though, twice sucks. And obviously, we now have an opportunity to redeem ourselves. It is impressive, though, that in the very short history of this club's existence, that this is the 4th time they made it to the quarterfinals of this tournament. It's impressive that they've made it to a couple of finals. But ultimately, all that stuff is philosophy, because as we know, unless you're winning, you're sinning. And in Los Angeles, in a city that thrives on championship pedigree, this is the one that consistently slips within our hands. This is an important one. We put it well above anything else in any other competition, period. It's CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's MLS. It's Supporters Shield. It's whatever else afterwards, with Leagues Cup obviously being the lowest ranking of it all. Why? Because the winner gets to go ahead and compete in the FIFA Club World Cup, which is somewhere we'd like to be again and somewhere where we would like to perform at a much better level on the biggest stage. But you can't get there unless you win the CONCACAF Champions Cup. There's a nice place in the future trophy cabinet that might get built sometime. Be kind of cool to have a trophy case to look at and admire when we go to BMO Stadium. But this right here, this is the grand poobah of trophies, and this is the one I know from the top, from the ownership down to the Falcon. Ollie, we all want this one.
No, absolutely. By the way, our chat is crushing it right now. Look, first of all, I don't think we will be on Christmas Tree Lane before the game. I know LAFC Way, you're asking about that. We'll be there a little bit ahead of time, but probably not on Christmas Tree Lane before the game. And yes, I would say a lot of the Canadians, Mario, are some of the nicest people that we've ever met. Unfortunately, also not out there on Christmas Tree Lane or even on the pitch at all for Cruz Azul. Their center back, Jesus Orozco, he had ankle surgery. He's very, very good, has a bunch of caps with the Mexican national team, but he is out after needing ankle surgery. So he's the one main injury for Cruz Azul. And of course, we know the 3 that we'll be dealing with for LAFC: Aaron Long, Igor Jesus, and Stefan Eustáquio, who may never come back. I don't know. So we'll see. Philly, shall we get into the players to watch?
Yes, please.
All right. What's fun is that I haven't showed this yet to Philly, but I cheated. You ready?
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, I cheated. All right. Here's me cheating. First and foremost, I picked 2 players for Cruz Azul. But don't worry. It's not like they're two biggest goal scorers or anything like that. I only picked these two players for a reason. I'll get there in a second. LAFC, fish in a barrel, low-hanging fruit, all of the things. Duh, it's Sonny. But why? I just wanted to get back on my soapbox for a quick second. There are 21 goal contributions if you combine Sonny's and Denis' totals this season. 21 goal contributions in 10 matches. Now, if you just leave that where it is, people go, oh my God, these two are amazing. 21. And then you think, oh wait, Denis only has 9. That means Sonny has 12 goal contributions in those 10 matches. 12 goal contributions in 10 matches, but he's only scored 1 goal. Well, guess what, all of you Sonny fans out there? I am predicting that this is the match where you finally get what you want. I think it's going to be a brace for Son Heung-min in this one. I think he's finally going to get off the schneid because he has been in a rough spot since, he's only scored 1 goal this season. He's got 11 assists, people. They've got 21 goal contributions between the two of them. But Sonny is finally going to get on the board for this one. So all of you out there can relax and you can, praise Marc Dos Santos for one. So that's just why I picked Sonny. I cheated. I picked Cruz Azul. I picked 2 players, Willer Dita and Gonzalo Piovi. Why? Because they are likely both going to start at center back for Cruz Azul. And between the two of them this season, they have 23 yellow cards. 23 yellow cards. Diego Chara just turned around and went, damn, that's a lot of yellow cards. I firmly believe that those two are going to be the key to the match for Cruz Azul, and I will tell you why when I get to my keys to the match in just a minute. So just remember, the 2 center backs I chose, 23 yellow cards between the two of them.
Jinkies. Jinkies. All right. To your point about Sonny, yes, he has 1 goal and 4 assists, but he's got 11 chances created throughout the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which, believe it or not, is still not even the top one. Mauricio Cuevas of the Galaxy actually has 1 more, but we'll see if those numbers continue on. For me, listen, the buck stops with Denis when it comes to goal scoring. The contributions obviously are coming from Sonny, and you've already picked that. So if he's got 1, I might as well have the other. The 2 most dynamic tandem in this entire CONCACAF region. And with Denis coming off of his 8th hat trick as a member of LAFC, it's a no-brainer to choose him. We've said it time and time again. We've seen it year after year after year. He goes quiet. All of a sudden, he starts to do something big in CONCACAF. You remember the Hatties that he scored against Vancouver in the past. And then all of a sudden, he gets the ball rolling to where he starts making an ascent up the Golden Boot ladder when it comes to scoring in Major League Soccer. So for me, it's all about Denis. And obviously, he's one of the top goal scorers in this tournament as well. He's got 4. Only Gabriel Peck has more than he does. It's interesting how the top players that have created chances and scored are for a team that's honestly abysmal, absolutely abysmal. But that's neither here nor there. We're not here to poop on the neighbors down the 110. We're here to talk about LAFC. So for me, it is Denis. On the other end, you got to talk about the 31-year-old Uruguayan, Gabriel Fernandez, playing his best football and truthfully having the most success he's had since he was a part of that 2018-2019 winning Peñarol team. He's already got 4 goals and 4 assists this season, and with 2 assists in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And I'll always pick a player who can facilitate just as much as he can score. He's also taken 14 shots in CONCACAF Champions Cup play this year, which ranks 3rd among all players in competitions. He leads Cruz Azul and ranks 7th in Liga MX with 7 goals in league play. So this is a guy who can take care of business. Romero's been their hot scorer in this tournament, but for me, whether or not he starts or he comes off the bench, which he did in the last game against Monterrey, Fernandez, to me, is their most dangerous player.
Fernandez leads the club in both goals and assists in all competitions this season. So you are dead on when it comes to Gabriel Fernandez and his impact. All right, let's get to my keys. The very first key is to press their center backs. 23 yellow cards between the two of them. And I do think they're both going to start tomorrow. 23 yellow cards. What we need to do is get Sonny or Denis or David or Nathan or Daz 1v1 with either of these center backs. And I think we're going to pick up an early yellow on one, maybe even both. And if they have to go to what would be their fourth and or fifth options at center back because one of their starters is already out hurt, I feel like that's when we pounce. If we are able to get them in yellow card trouble and make them defend differently, then it is all over for Cruz Azul in their box, because I really do feel like that's where LAFC can really turn up the pressure. On the other hand, we cannot give these guys space. Philly is going to talk about it in just a little bit, but I'm also going to mention in the goals that they scored against Monterrey, there were 4 goals that they scored against Monterrey. None of them came off of a counter or off of a fast break of any kind. They were all either off of set pieces or off of crosses for plays that were recycled back and forth. This wasn't somebody out racing LAFC. This wasn't somebody who was getting out ahead and they were making great plays in transition. They have to rely on some space if they want to create. So what LAFC needs to do very simply is to close out the space. And when we have the ball, press the heck out of their center backs.
Absolutely. And getting on the boards early as quick as possible to shut them down. But this is a team that is very gritty. The vast majority of the goals that they've scored throughout this tournament have occurred between that 61 and 75-minute window. So this is where they tend to start to light up, playing with their hair on fire towards the latter half of the match. But we talk about defending the long ball. Look, 44% of their attempts have come from outside the box. They lead all teams in the CONCACAF Champions Cup with crosses, and they also lead when it comes to headed attempts. Now, they've only scored 2 goals off of headers, but they like to go to the air, and they like to get their players' noggins involved when it comes to scoring goals. Again, I mentioned this is the team that averages about 3 goals per game. So we're going to have to defend the long ball because they're going to try to get in the box as much as possible. 11 of their goals, by the way, have come inside, but a lot of that comes obviously off of brilliant cross attempts. So that's one way where we have to take care of business. In addition, it's all about set piece defending, which we haven't conceded a lot of goals off of set pieces in this tournament. And Cruz Azul hasn't really scored that many goals off of set pieces. I think only 2 goals have been scored off of corners. But that's been our Achilles heel. And with the number of attempts that they've had throughout this tournament, knowing that it's going to come off the noggin, we need to make sure that we have our wits with us and no set piece malaise, because that could be where we fall down in a game against our toughest opponent of the season.
Yeah, no, look, you're absolutely right. By the way, shout out to Smirty in the chat. Glad to hear you're feeling better, buddy. It's good to have you back in the chat with us. Last match, as you might recall, Philly chose 3-0, and I chose 3-0. What we didn't tell you is that we wanted you to combine our scores so that we would be right, and we got 6-0. And it worked out pretty well for Philly and I picking the same scoreline. And I say that because I tried real hard to give myself a reason to come off of the scoreline that I had been thinking about all day. And I actually figured it's better that I don't, because what I think might actually happen is you might have to combine our 2 scorelines at the end of this one as well. So I'm sticking with mine, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's a 2-1 match. And then Philly might talk about something relatively similar. I think it's 2-1 because I think Cruz Azul is just that good. I think Cruz Azul will put one by us. I don't know if it'll come first, if it'll come second, or if it'll come third out of the 3 goals that I pick. But I do think that Sonny is going to have his brace. And then I think Cruz Azul is going to get an away goal somewhere in there. And it's terrifying because that essentially means that a 1-0 win in Puebla puts Cruz Azul through based on the away goals tiebreaker. The away goal is the terrifying part for me, but for some reason, I just think that Cruz Azul is going to get one. I think they're that good. I think their midfield is that creative. And there were 2 players that I kind of wanted to mention. I was thinking about maybe adding to my players to watch. I wasn't going to pick 4. I was just going to pick these 2 guys instead of those 2 guys. Carlos Rodriguez and Agustin Palavecino. Those 2 guys have combined for 14 goals and 11 assists in the 31 matches that they've played. And that's really good from your midfield. In fact, they are the reason why Matty Bogusz is gone. They were looking for more production out of their midfield. So they let Matty Bogusz go. And these 2 guys, Carlos Rodriguez and Agustin Palavecino, they are really good. Not to mention Paradella, who I talked about before with his 10 goals and 7 assists. They get a ton of production out of the midfield. So that's why I've got 2-1. Philly, why do you have 2-1?
Because I also see Cruz Azul scoring a goal, and honestly, I see them scoring first. It seems as if LAFC, with the exception of most recently against Orlando, is a team that has conceded first on a couple of occasions, in particular in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But the difference is that LAFC's managed to win a couple of games, even though they have conceded first within this tournament. Cruz Azul, on the other hand, when conceding first, is only won once. So they're going to look to score. I think they're going to score the first goal, and then we come out and score the next 2 in a grisly and hard-fought contest where we are going to see a very chippy affair, a very loud and boisterous crowd for both sides, because make no mistake of it, there will be a lot of Cruz Azul kids in BMO Stadium, much like there was an awful lot, by the way, of Alajuelense fans in that last game that we saw. I was quite impressed with their turnout, but this isn't going to be the traditional home field advantage that we know, because obviously of the popularity of one of the biggest clubs coming out of Liga MX. So they're going to score first. Then we're going to come out and score the next 2, which is going to set up a nice stage for when we go to Puebla next week, the day before our taxes are due. And at this point, I'm saying that, realizing that I have to get started on that because my accountant has been hitting me up. And this doesn't seem like it's going to be the year where yours truly is going to get a refund. I think I'm going to have to pay Uncle Sam. And that makes me more nauseous than seeing the Empire Strikers get knocked out of the playoffs today and Michigan winning the NCAA championship. No disrespect to any of you Wolverine fans out there. I think Luke went to Michigan. In fact, yes, he did. Luke Klipp did go to Michigan. So congrats to your Wolverines, but I don't have to like it.
Just a reminder, Philly, who won the football national championship?
That's true. Indiana's a football school now.
There you go. So yeah, we've both got 2-1, guys. And look, it's going to be an interesting atmosphere at BMO Stadium. All due respect to the 22,000 that normally fill BMO Stadium, the chorus of the black and gold, the millions.
And millions.
But Cruz Azul is the real deal. And they bring their real fans, their real supporters. It's always an interesting phenomenon.
Illinois, fuckhead? Oh, we got to have a talk about this one.
It's
very few people I know even know who the Salukis are that follow college sports. Sorry, the ADD kicked in. My bad.
It's always interesting to watch when a Club America or a Cruz Azul, or it's going to be real interesting when Chivas comes to BMO Stadium.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting.
All kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that happens at these Liga MX matches. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to the atmosphere there. But I want to remind everybody again, be safe at these events too. There's a lot of smack talk that happens at this. There's a lot of, it might be a Tuesday, but there's going to be some libations enjoyed on both sides. Everybody just be careful out there. I've got 2-1. Philly's got 2-1. And the match is at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure you get there early. Parking is going to be terrible. Traffic sucks downtown on a Tuesday. Good luck. Philly?
Couldn't have said it better myself. I don't have anything more clever to say than that. By the way, what shirt is that you're wearing?
I'm wearing a Hello Kitty shirt just for you, buddy.
Oh, my! And you didn't expose it until I actually had to ask you about it?
Yeah, I was just keeping it on the down low.
Okay, well, I like your Hello Kitty t-shirt. And
thank you.
So does Hello Kitty.
It's been some time since we've spoken, Mr. Scarf. And hello again to the millions.
And millions.
If you're new, this happens quite frequently. So if you think it's cheesy, well, start getting used to it. Bye.
All right, y'all. You heard it from Hello Kitty. I've got 2-1. He's got 2-1. Let us know what you think. And we'll see everybody at BMO tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Hasta la bye-bye.